your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, I hope that worked. That was an introduction that we hadn't tried before. So hey, we're kicking chicken with this new YouTube thing, y'all. Jimmy, I didn't even do the intro. But I was so excited I got the other thing to work. Hey again, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. Jimmy, how are you today?
I'm great. Sunday, fun day. Well, Sunday as we record. Most people are probably listening to this on Monday morning or Monday afternoon while you run on your Peloton. Do people run on Pelotons? I don't even really know what one is.
Yeah, you can run on they have treadmills, I think.
Okay.
Perfect. Well, let me start out. I don't know if anybody can see out my window, but I'm in Steamboat, Colorado, Steamboat Springs, and I grossly underestimated the lingering effects of COVID. I'm not a good snow skier. I've only done this is my third time. I'm not good at it. I don't necessarily really even enjoy it. But I'm here with my in-laws and my wife and my 5-year-old, and she's taking lessons. And, I thought, okay, I took some lessons in Jackson Hole when we found out we were pregnant with Sela. What could be the big deal? I had 2 runs down the mountain, and I am wiped the F out. I'm done. I told my wife, I said, I can't do anymore.
Why'd you run and just not use the skis?
I thought it was a Peloton. But man, I'm telling you, it's got to be the COVID. It's got to be. Now, I'm do the pizza pie thing. I don't go very fast. I only do greens. I'm one of the skiers that good skiers hate to go by because they're like, I don't know what this fool's going to do next.
Right.
But man, I was so wiped out, and like I had to take my boots and so I'm wearing those funky ski boots and taking my skis and taking all my stuff and walking up, and I'm huffing it back to the condo because you can ski into the condo, but I was like, I can't ski anymore. I can't do that again. So I can't go back up the mountain to ski into the condo. And I walked back up here and up this there's some steps to the condo, and I took my boots off because I was like, I can't wear these hefty MFers anymore. I gotta take them off. So I walked in my socks. People were stopping and asking me, "Are you okay?" I'm not kidding. I'm a 49-year-old, pretty healthy man, and people thought I needed hospice. I'm telling you. But Jimmy, something else that may have given people the need for hospice yesterday was the fact that this Alabama team just keeps giving folks heart attacks or brain aneurysms or something, because just like, by the way, kudos to you for predicting that Baylor would lose to Alabama, or that Alabama would beat Baylor, I guess I should say. Kudos to you. You predicted that. I kept telling people, everybody kept saying to me, it wouldn't be a shock if Alabama won. I'm like, no, I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be mildly surprised, but it's hard for me to fathom a team going from losing to Georgia, who's god-awful, who's mailed it in, and then beating a good Baylor team. Not just a good Baylor team, a great Baylor team. I couldn't imagine it. Well, they did it, and all I can do is just clap and say, kudos. Hey, JQ is back. It's good to have you back, brother. I mean, you look like old JQ. I dug it. Juwan Gary, our enforcer, is back. And we thought it was maybe be Rojas, but it's not. It's Gary. We did all this, by the way, without Darius Miles. So I'm pretty fired up, Jimmy. I feel a lot better about our chances, getting in the NCAA tournament and all that stuff. And name a team that's got 3 better wins than we do.
No, you can't. I mean, Alabama's got the best collection of wins in the whole country. It just shows that when things go well, when they shoot reasonably well, when they play hard, when they value the basketball on the offense and the defensive end, they're really good. They're just as good as we hoped they would be. What they lack is game-to-game consistency, maybe even some game-to-game effort. I think the leadership, the on-floor leadership lacks and probably affects the consistency game to game. And some of it's just sports. And I know people hate that answer because they think that's not an answer, but it really is. How many of you that listen to the show play golf? Okay. And so look at your own little sports career. You play golf all the time, or whoever's listening to the show that plays golf, and maybe the best score you've ever shot in your whole life is 78. And that's the best score you've ever shot. Most of the time you don't shoot 78. So I'd ask you, why the hell aren't you shooting 78 every time out? I mean, obviously you can shoot 78. Why don't you shoot 78 every time you play? And well, that's sports. And it's the same thing for these guys at the highest level. It's not the exact same performance night after night after night. It isn't for anybody. And these are college kids on top of it. So there can be wild swings in terms of how they play from one night to the next. And I don't think we would have those wild swings if it was a more veteran team with great leadership, but it's not. It's a young team. I mean, J.D. Davison and Bediako are two guys that play, what we have like about 8 guys that play all the minutes really. And 2 of them are true freshmen. And Keon, it's just his second year in the league. And Shaq is the veteran. He's a true junior. I mean, that makes him an upperclassman, but are you really a veteran leader in year 3? And he's sort of the old man of the team. So it's a young team that doesn't have great leadership. And I think there's going to be other performances this year that make you upset, if you want to call it that. And there's going to be other performances where we're like, wow, we can beat anybody, any place, anytime. And yesterday was one of those days. So real proud of the guys for putting it together. I felt it was a perfect storm, back up against the wall, playing at home, an opponent that's going to bring out the best in you. And all they needed to do was shoot the ball a little better. It still wasn't as good as it can be, but JQ was better. And really, I'm going to say this for the rest of the season, because now we've seen it in practice, Luke. I'm going to say this the rest of the year. People are going to get sick of this too, but it's just so true. As JQ goes, so goes the team. I mean, if he plays well, the team is great. If he doesn't play well, we need superhuman effort from everyone else. We're very dependent on Quinterly playing well, and we can be great when he plays well, and J.D. Davison does too.
I want to talk about that point, which is a good one, and talk about J.D. Davison when we come back. But right now I want to tell you about Get Upside. Look, I'm telling you, I'm going to pull it up right here if I can do it. This is live TV, kind of, as far as you're concerned. But this is the Get Upside app. And you go to it, and it takes it a second because I'm in this condo with terrible Wi-Fi. But it shows you, look, you go to Get Upside. Use promo code SCORE when you download it. Then when you fill up, you'll get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill up. So it's like getting free money for filling up with gas, something you got to do unless you got a Tesla or something. I know you don't, but you can also go to different restaurants and scan your receipt and get money back with Get Upside. It's the best app. It's just free money. That's all it is. And all you have to do is take a picture of your receipt. That's it. That's all you got to do. And download the app at anywhere you get your apps, at the Apple Store, at the Google Play Store, at the BlackBerry Store, if they've got one. I don't know, but go get one. Get Upside app. You will love it. And it's free money. Jimmy and I give you free money all the time. We wish we'd keep some of this money, but we don't. We are too benevolent. So go to Get Upside and get the app.
That's us.
That is. People love, they know about our benevolence. They know about it. Also want to tell you about Built Bar, BUILT.com. Built.com is where you want to go to get these delicious, nutritious Built Bars. They are awesome. They taste awesome. And look, I brought some out here with me to go snow skiing. I don't need them as much as I need oxygen, apparently, but or intermectin. Is that intervectin? What's the stuff, the horse stuff that we're all taking to get rid of COVID?
You're probably short on it now that you're just about done with your COVID.
That's probably true. But I'm not short on Built Bars because I love them and I keep them around all the time. And they're delicious. They're covered in chocolate, good for a keto or a keto diet. Use promo code LOCKED15. You'll get 15% off your order at built.com, where you go to get these delicious, nutritious, scrumptious Built bars. They are fantastic. You've seen them in Lifetime Fitness. You've seen them at all these other health places. But I'm giving you an opportunity using promo code LOCK15 to get 15% off that order. And you're going to want a lot of them. So 15% can save you some money. And it saves you a little bit of gas. But even if you did have to go get some gas, you can use Get Upside. So I'm getting you money either way. Go to Built Bar, or go get you a Built Bar, and go to built.com to go get them. All right, Jimmy, you brought up JQ. Frankly, I think he's been getting killed lately. Probably rightfully so. I mean, killed is probably the wrong way to put it, because he's not been horrendous. He just hadn't been JQ. And this game, he seemed to be JQ. He came back. What do you have? 20 points? I'm about to look it up right now. He had 20 points. He had he did have 4 turnovers, but he had 5. So I can live with that. He had 2. He was 5 of 5 from the stripe and 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. Those are amazing numbers for JQ, given the way he's been lately. So yeah. Now, speaking of that, Jaden Shackelford, who's been pretty good from beyond the arc, was 1 of 7. Now, go back to J.D. Davison for a second. This guy, he didn't really play well at Georgia. He didn't really play well at Missouri. But in the big games, he shows up. He had a big dunk against Walker Kessler in the Auburn game. He was one of the reasons we were in it. He had a big 3 against Gonzaga when they cut it to 4 with about 3 minutes left, and he hit a 3. He hit a 3 last night when things were looking like, okay, here comes Baylor again, and they tapped away one of our passes. He gets it, turns around, sees it is open, and just drains it. This guy's got a big game gene in him. He loves the big game. Now, we've got to find a way to get him more consistent, but that's a freshman thing. Overall, you got to be thrilled. And if all of our guys play better in big games, I got good news for everybody. We got a shitload of big games coming up.
We do. The other day, I ranked on the On3 board our 11 remaining games, including this one. And even I was stunned when you put it down, when you type it all up and you look at it, you're like, you've got to be kidding. I mean, in terms of the strength of schedule left for Alabama, there's almost 0 gimmies. And of course, we had a gimme in Athens. We lost it. So this team, there probably are no gimmies. But the games at the top of that list, the toughest games at LSU, at Auburn, at Kentucky. We got to play Kentucky, then we got to play at Kentucky. Real tough games left. So yeah, if JD likes hard games, yeah, good news for you, JD. But I think it's a freshman thing. I also think with JD, he did make the huge 3 yesterday. He's made some big ones, but he's not a great shooter yet. I bet, Luke, over the course of his long career playing basketball, he's going to become a really good shooter. I think that's in him. I just think that getting to the basket has been so easy and effective for him at every level he's played so far. He hasn't had to, quote, settle for the jumper. He's never had to do that before. Now he's getting to where he needs to hit jump shots because getting to the rim's a little tougher at every level now, and it's tougher for him now than it was before, obviously. So I think as he develops a shot, he's going to be a really good player. But we're seeing signs, Luke, that JD's not just a great athlete playing basketball, that he's a great basketball player. And once he makes that transition, he'll not only be a good SEC player, he's going to be a good pro player.
Yeah, I agree. Really happy with the way he's coming along. And, one thing that I noticed yesterday, and he's done this a few times, it's almost like when he's got sort of a breakaway, he doesn't go full speed. It's almost like he's waiting for something bad to happen, like somebody's behind me, or I should have passed it, or something. And yesterday, a Baylor guy was sort of body checking him as he had a breakaway. And at the last second, he pulled away. And that's the kind of thing he did at the Calhoun school in Leadehatchee. And that's what he needs to do at this level. And it's all about getting your confidence. And boy, he played with a lot of confidence the other night. It was so good to see. And again, it was good to see that this team could win a game like that, and especially win a game by that margin, given that Jaden Shackelford was 1 of 7 from beyond the arc. Shackelford had a pretty good game, but 1 of 7 is not good, and is certainly un-Shaq-like. So, Jimmy, if you're listening on the podcast, then we're taking a break. If you're watching on video, it's just going to be an awkward pause with me and Jimmy for a second, because I don't know how to put commercials in here on the video. So here we go. Awkward pause done. Jimmy, let's talk a little bit about football here. Will Reichard. How about this? He may have actually outkicked his coverage.
Bada boom.
But because he got engaged this weekend. So congratulations, Will Reichard. And you will love marriage as many times as you do it, just like me. But no, congratulations to Will Reichard.
3 times.
Congratulations to Will Reichard. Congratulations to her, because she's got now her teeth sunk into a dude that's going to be making NFL money. And that can't be undersold. I mean, Will Reichard's a good dude regardless, but he's also going to be a good dude that's in the NFL. That works out pretty good for everybody.
I think so. And I, you can know a lot about football and not know a lot about kicking. I'm proof of that. But here's what I'll say about Will in the NFL. I don't believe, someone please prove me wrong if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that of the 32 NFL teams, they all like to keep more than one kicker on the roster in terms of, well, on our 53-man active roster, we have our kickoff guy and we got our short field goal guy and we got our long field goal guy. No, I think they prefer to have, one kicker, a guy that does all of it, because there's so few roster spots for the other positions. So it's incumbent upon Will to become a better kickoff guy. I think his accuracy and his range are NFL good. His range could improve, and I think it will as he gets older. But he needs to be a better kickoff guy. And the best kickoff guys, the best ones, they can do any kick. They're like trick shot artists playing pool. They can, the special teams coach just goes, hey, Will, this time we want it through the end zone. Hey, Will, this time we want it high into the left corner. Hey, Will, this time we want high into the right corner. Hey, this time we want a squib kick, but make sure they field it back inside the 10. Okay, now we need an onside kick to try to get the ball back and win the game. You have to be able to do all of those things kicking off. And so far, I don't think it's Will's greatest strength. I don't think, he even wasn't the full-time kickoff guy earlier in his career at Alabama. So if Will's going to kick in the NFL, believe it or not, I think that's almost the skill he needs to improve more so than the field goals, because I think field goal wise, accuracy and range, he looks like a really good pro prospect to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Speaking of pro prospects, there were a bunch of them on campus this past weekend. Alabama had a nice little recruiting weekend. Anything you can tell us from that? I know Ronnie Royal was there, and that guy's a dude.
Yeah, Ronnie Royal is a running back, defensive back down at Gulf Shores High School. I think he'll be one of the top prospects in the state in the 24 group. I watched his tape just this week, coincidentally. Really good prospect because he's got SEC speed and burst. You have to have the burst, and it's just easier to see than it is to describe. And his burst is there. I mean, that's SEC burst from the running back position. But he's also not the biggest guy in the world. And I'm pretty impressed when I watch clips of him playing defensive back. I'm not 1,000% sure that he's going to be a running back at the SEC level. He might play defense. I mean, I don't know. I just know this. He's an SEC athlete, and it'll be interesting to watch his career, see where he ends up. I thought real interesting news this weekend. Alabama offered a 2024 quarterback from Willis, Texas, DJ Lagway. And again, 2024 now. This isn't the Archie Manning group. This is the year after that. It's probably not committable in the sense Alabama likes to see these quarterbacks in camp before they pull the trigger. But an offer means we're recruiting you. So we're going to be recruiting DJ Lagway at least until we see him in camp this summer. He'll be one of our everyday call type recruits. Big kid, strong kid. He has a lot of other offers from a lot of other power programs, but just interesting that there's a new quarterback name out there. He's really young and got to hang with Coach Saban in his office and got his offer. So a lot of big time kids. Richard Young might be the number one running back nationally in the 2023 class. Great big kid, big back. He was also on campus. He's been to Tuscaloosa a few times. I don't know that Alabama leads. They probably don't, but Alabama would be in a small group of finalists for him.
What about Jalen Farmer, this sort of bursting onto the scene kid? That's a 3-star offensive lineman that everybody thinks is better than that. I mean, it seemed to be a Florida kid. Then Auburn was interested, and now Alabama sneaks in there to get him for a visit.
Yeah, a real interesting guy. We broke his tape down on the On3 message board this week. I like him a lot. I've liked him more every day this week. I think he's almost inexplicably underrated. This happens all the time. I think it's just one of those kids that probably just didn't make a lot of headlines. And then you watch his senior tape. Could also be a late bloomer. Maybe credit to Dan Mullen and the Georgia staff for seeing the potential in him. And then maybe it comes to fruition his senior year after he's committed to Florida. But the kid takes a step back from Florida when the staff is replaced. And that's why he didn't sign in the early period. Now the new Florida staff, they want to sign him. They want him. They want him badly. So does Kentucky, which I think is interesting because there's no offensive line in the SEC I trust their eyes more than Kentucky right now. They just seem to do a fantastic job of identifying 3-star linemen and turning them into high NFL draft picks. And Kentucky wanted this guy. So that just helps me sell myself on Jalen Farmer besides his tape. He's a 2022 guy. So on Wednesday, this week, signing day, Alabama will really be waiting to hear from 2 guys and 2 guys only as far as signing. And that's tight end Danny Lewis from New Iberia, Louisiana, deciding really between Alabama and LSU, and this Jalen Farmer, offensive guard from Covington, Georgia, deciding between Florida, Alabama, Auburn, Kentucky, and Mississippi State. And I'll tell you what, when you have an offer list like that, he doesn't really sound like a 3-star, does he?
No, he doesn't. But the most surprising thing in there, you told me, you're telling me there's a new Iberia? That's an old Simpsons joke where somebody said something about New Mexico, and Mr. Burns goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! There's a New Mexico." That's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I'll tell you what, if I invent a city, I'm going to call it brand new Iberia.
Spanking new Iberia. All right, Jimmy, that's going to do it for this episode. I've got to, I guess, go and act like I'm enjoying skiing, but I'm not. I'm thoroughly not. I mean, this is so not me. And like, I felt like Job from Arrested Development. I have made a huge mistake. But anyway, want to thank everybody for tuning in. And until next time, roll tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.